Worked with how to solve one-step equations. Now we're going to go ahead and, one-step inequalities. Now we're going to go ahead and look at two-step inequalities. So two-step inequalities, they follow the same rules of isolating the variable. We still just want to isolate the variable with two-step inequalities. And we can think of it as undoing operations. So we do the opposite because we're undoing all of the operations. So our steps, first we want to always start with undoing addition and subtraction. So undo addition or subtraction, just like all the other ones, with the opposite or the inverse operation. And then you're going to undo multiplication or division with the inverse operation as well. Now, this comment here says to watch out for negative signs. Remember, when you multiply or divide by a negative, the inequality flips. All right, sorry about that. The inequality flips whenever you multiply or divide by a negative. And we'll practice that more tomorrow. So after you do the opposite of addition and subtraction, then you undo the multiplication and division. And then remember, your goal is just to isolate the variable. And then you can always check that the inequality sign is going the right way. And I'll show you how we do that in a couple examples. So if we look at this first one, again, put your line down the middle of the inequality. We do addition and subtraction first. So since we have this plus 9 with the x, we're going to do the opposite to get rid of that. And we're going to do minus 9 on each side. Positive 9 minus 9 makes 0, so those will cross out. We're just left with 5x. Keep our inequality in the middle. 17 minus 9, we get 8. Then from there, we want to get x by itself, so it's 5 times x. So we're going to divide by 5 to get rid of that. Divide by 5 on the other side. 5 divided by 5 will cancel. We're just left with x. And in this case, we can't really divide 8 by 5, so we can just leave it as a fraction. And that's our answer. Let's do the same thing with this next one. Split it down the middle of the inequality. Now, again, we want to do addition and subtraction first. That always has to be the first thing. So right here, negative 2 times x, that's multiplication. But this is minus 3, so we want to do that. The opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. Do that same thing on the other side. Negative 3 plus 3 gives us 0. Those go away. We're just left with negative 2x. And then 13 plus 3 on the other side, we get 16. And then here, it's negative 2 times x. So we're going to divide by negative 2 and divide by negative 2. Now, most of us saw this in class today. When we divide both sides by a negative or multiply by a negative, the inequality ends up flipping. So those cancel. Our inequality sign is going to go from a greater than to a less than. And then 16 divided by negative 2 gives us negative 8. All right, so let's look at 3 examples where we have to actually go through it. Check the inequality sign and then graph it. I'm going to have us do 2 and 3. And then you'll come back and do 1 on your own in a little bit. So if we look at 2, split it down the inequality sign. We have negative 4 times p and then minus 5. So we want to get rid of the minus 5 first by doing plus 5 on both sides. 19 plus 5. Over here, we end up getting 24 is greater than, bring down the negative 4p. Negative 5 plus 5 cancels out, so we just get 0 there. Now to get p by itself, we want to get rid of this negative 4. It's negative 4 times p, so we need to divide by negative 4. Divide by negative 4 on both sides. 24 divided by negative 4, we get negative 6. Now we divided both sides by a negative, so this inequality is going to turn from greater than to less than, and then those cancel and we get p. And then just so we can have the variable first, we're going to flip this so the variable's first, so it'll turn into p is greater than negative 6. Now, to check if we got the inequality right, what we can do is take something that's greater than negative 6 and see if it's true for this inequality. So any numbers greater than negative 6 should work. So let's take negative 5, because that's greater than negative 6. We're going to plug that in. So it's going to be 19 is greater than negative 4 times p, which is negative 5, minus 5. So I just copied this original equation for inequality and plugged in negative 5 for p. 19 is greater than negative 5 times negative 4 is 20, minus 5. 19 is greater than 15. So having p greater than negative 6 does work. And then you can also check it by just changing this to equal and then plugging in negative 6 like we did the other day. And that'll just check if negative 6 is the right answer. This checks that our inequality is going the right way. But going back to our answer, p is greater than negative 6. We can make negative 6 on our number line. We want an open circle, and it's greater than, so it's going to go to the right. All right, same thing for number 3. Split it down the middle. We have 1/2 times r, and then plus 3. We want to get rid of the plus 3. Minus 3 on both sides. Those will cancel. We're left with 1/2 r is less than negative 6, negative 3. They're both negative, so we're going to add them. We get negative 9. Now remember, to get rid of fractions that are right next to a variable, you can always multiply by the reciprocal. So instead of 1/2, we're going to multiply by 2 over 1. We're going to multiply by 2 over 1 on the other side. So those will cancel. So we're just left with r, and r is less than negative 9 times 2 is negative 18. And then it'd be negative 18 over 1, which is just the same as negative 18. So now check the sign. So the only numbers that are going to work is anything less than negative 18. So take a number less than negative 18. I'm going to take negative 20, just because an even number is going to be a little bit easier to deal with. So we'll have 1/2 times our r is negative 20, plus 3 is less than negative 6. 1/2 times negative 20, half of 20 is 10, so it's going to be negative 10, plus 3 is less than negative 6. Negative 10 plus 3, negative 7, and negative 7 is less than negative 6. So our inequality is facing the right direction. Again, I just picked a number that, since its r is less than negative 18, I just picked a random number less than negative 18 and plugged it in to try it. But this is our answer. So we can graph it. Negative 18, open circle at negative 18, and it's going to the left because it's less than. Go ahead and try number 1. See what you get for this one. This is plus 10, so to get rid of this 10, we'd have to start by doing minus 10, and then go from there. Go ahead and give it a shot. All right, if we look at this, draw a line down the inequality. Again, we want to get rid of this plus 10, so we're going to do minus 10 on the other side. 10 minus 10 is 0, so those go away. We're left with 3k is less than or equal to 22 minus 10 is 12. Divide by 3 on both sides. And then we get k is less than or equal to 4. Again, we want to check that our sign is going the right way. So since this is k is less than or equal to 4, we want to pick something less than 4. So I'm going to go ahead and pick 3. And then plug it in for k. So we're going to make k equal to 3. And I should have done that with the other ones here. P equals negative 5, r equals 9. Okay, but k equals 3. So then we're going to do 10 plus 3 times k, which is 3, less than or equal to 22. 10 plus 9, less than or equal to 22. 10 plus 9 is 19. And 19 is less than or equal to 22. So anything less than 4 does work, so our inequality is going the right way. Now, to graph this, put it at 4, close circle at 4, and it's less than, so it's going to the left. And this is one-sided, so what you can easily do is just fold it. You can leave some of this showing if you want to see that it's about two-step inequalities. And you can go ahead and glue it in your notebook, or if this still doesn't fit, fold it all the way. And then go ahead and put it in your table of contents as well. Thank you.